I'm Edie Hovermale, host of Pacifica Currents. In this episode, we'll be talking to the Mothers Club in Pacifica and on the coast, so parenting support on the coast. Our first guest is Ria Tingin Tajbl.
Yes.
Welcome, Ria.
Thank you, Edie, for having me.
She's the co-president of the Pacifica Mothers Club.
Yes.
How did you get involved with the Mothers Club?
Well, I am a Bay Area native. My family and I moved to Pacifica about 8 years ago, and when I had my second son, I was at Farmers Market and I happened to meet Sarah, who later on became my co-president with me, and we joined the Mothers Club then.
And you have how many children?
I have two. I have a 16-year-old, also a son, Michael, and back then there wasn't a Mothers Club that I joined. And there's a big difference of the support that I can see now with having the Mothers Club all these 3 years.
What kind of, can you give me a little history of the Mothers Club? Let's start there at the Pacifica Mothers Club.
The Pacifica Mothers Club started in 1991 with a group of mothers. Now it's grown over 20 years, about 350 families. And it seems like there's new membership weekly. So mothers and families, primary caregivers, and also we have a single dad that just joined, which is fantastic.
So you don't have to be a mother to be in the Mothers Club?
No, you have to have a child. So,
okay.
And there's adopted families, adopted single parents, which is just amazing to have such blended families in our club.
That is wonderful. What is the goal of the Pacifica Mothers Club? What are some of the goals that you set out to have?
Mainly is friendship and support for the mothers, fathers, caregivers of the children, which there's pregnant mothers, so even before they have children, they can join and kind of get the email network of people in their community to foster the friendship and just kind of what we experience as parents of these little ones.
How old do the kids, how young or how old do the kids need to be?
Well, like I said, you know, pregnant moms join. This is a great time to kind of find doulas or, you know, birthing centers until about age 5, where we think that the school community ends up being their new sources of network and all the volunteer hours that they have with each school. But we also have an associate membership that when children age out after 5, it sounds strange, age out, you know, members can continue on as an associate member.
Okay, great. So what kind of things, what kind of benefits or what kind of things happen in the Mothers Club?
One that comes to mind, there are quite a few, is in a pinch, we call it IAP. It's usually for special needs, like when a new baby comes, you know, mothers need all the support. So we have a coordinator, and she coordinates the meals with the new mom and then the membership. Mm-hmm. And it's also for emergencies. Sometimes there's hospital visits or something that is like you need a little bit of help. There's a babysitting co-op that used to be pretty active, but with our growing membership, it's kind of inactive, but we're getting it back up now that we have it. We always need babysitting. Our general meetings have speakers, so there's a lot of information, not just the social part, but also things that you need, like potty training and maybe attorneys or getting back into shape. So, and we also have the superintendent come, because even if your child is a newborn, you have to think of what school am I going to choose in Pacifica? What are the best schools, and what's the state of our schools now? So,
how about preschool support? Do you have a network on how to find a good preschool or a preschool that fits their family?
That's a great question, because our March speaker is going to be our annual preschool open house. So the local preschools, not just in Pacifica, but also Daly City and surrounding areas, Montessori as well, will come and have their materials so parents can come and take a look. There's going to be a tour, I believe, in April, but at least they get to meet the directors.
Now. Okay, great.
Yes.
Oh, that's really good. we had exchanged email earlier, and so some of these things it was really fun for me to see. Like, so I know you have play groups.
Oh, yes.
And the play groups get set up. So you want to tell me a little bit how those play groups get set up?
I think we might have 13 play groups now. So it's set up in age brackets. So from January to June of a given year, you have a play group, and the play groups are formed and they're pulled. They get to choose what their names are. So my second son, Jonas, he's a happy clam. So he's Jan to June 2008. And whenever there's a new play group coming, now we have some siblings. So we have, people in 2 different play groups. We also started a soccer play group because these little kids have a lot of energy. So that's a new play group, as well as a bilingual play group. So things are happening. And again, dads, stay-at-home dads especially, really welcome something new to do during the day, during the week, to take their kids. So that's something exciting for the whole family to have.
To break up the day.
Yeah, to break up the day. And okay, here's meal time, nap time, and play group time with a bunch of kids. So get them ready for a good night's sleep.
That's great. So I had kids, and we were members of a Mother's Club and a play group, and one of the things I think the benefit to me was not just for the kids to get together, but for the parents to get together.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's one of those things that, so-and-so was throwing food at me, I don't know why, and that happened to me, and this is what I did. So part of that support is just kind of the camaraderie and sharing of the stages. So that's why it's important to have, okay, your children are within 6 months, this is what you're going through. And then sometimes also the next play group, some kids are more advanced, or some kids are developing in different stages. So that's kind of helpful to know, okay, we can go to this play group, or for those stay-at-home moms, or actually the working moms, we have a working moms play group. So I'm part of that too, since I'm a working mom. We're the busy bees. So that's kind of nice. That's a play group that's any age, actually.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Now you have, you sent me email, and you said you have email forum. So
yes.
Want to talk about that?
So when you join the Mothers Club, and a lot of different clubs out there, you can choose what kind of email strings and messages you have. And a lot of the times it's, recommendations. And it's not even necessarily with parenting. It's, oh no, with the storms I need a plumber, or the window broke, or in Pacifica and Coastside, one of the things that we had was there's the mold issue. So people just chimed in with get a dehumidifier or get this. So it was really super helpful. Another email subject was there was a strange, scary knock at the door. And then everyone said, you shouldn't open the door or ask who it is, especially if you're at home and your husband or partner is not there yet. So it's a lot of kind of peace of mind, even if people cannot talk to each other on the phone or can't get together as groups.
Okay, good.
I should also mention mentor moms. We do have, a coordinator for that, but there's always, questions about, expertise within the club. So it's kind of helpful to know, okay, this is the go-to person, or here's resources for that. So if someone wants a mentor mom, you can kind of hook them up? Is that what that is? Yeah, exactly. And there's some things that you don't want to put on email, but you want to connect with that person. So certain things that are more a one-to-one type of conversation.
Right, more personal. So you have some fun events that not just the play groups are fun, but you have some fun family events. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
We have Bagels in the Park, which is at our Pacifica Co-op Nursery School. It's a nice enclosed area, so sometimes you're not looking at your child, but it's enclosed with a fence. We provide bagels and coffee, and sometimes actually my in-laws were in town and they came, so it was kind of nice for them to be out of town to just experience their grandson with their friends. We also have our Mother's Day birthday in May. We get the mothers together for that. The 4th of July picnic at Frontierland Park. We sell baked goods and we give it to charity. Our Halloween parade this year, we have fabulous event coordinators, and they took us to the senior center and they did a parade there. So it was kind of nice for maybe seniors that don't have family that they can enjoy that and our holiday party.
Oh, that's great. Now, you brought in a book.
Yes.
I would love for you to show us your book. So you guys got a book together.
Yes, last year this was an idea from our In a Pinch, because there's sometimes, what should I make for this person? What's easy? Because I need to make my family's meal and make this other person's meal too. This is our beloved recipes from our Mothers Club that we put together. And it has helpful hints of like vegetarian meals, and also a cup is equal to how many ounces. And all proceeds go to charity too. So we support mainly the Pacifica charities in and around town.
Oh, great. So you keep it local.
Yes.
Do you have fundraisers for the Mothers Club?
Yes, this is one of our fundraisers. We try to have monthly ones. Extreme Pizza, and also a lot of the local restaurants, I don't want to just say them, but all the restaurants in Pacifica, they support us by giving proceeds towards our charities. We also have monthly raffle meetings, or at our monthly meetings we have raffles, and people donate items and we sell them for the tickets for $1, and those go to events. So it's kind of nice to have items at home that you may not use, may not want, but somebody else might want it. So it's kind of a nice recycle, reuse type of thing too. Right.
Kind of the last point I want to make is you actually didn't get to do, you came in tonight and you missed a fun
clothing
thing.
swap.
The clothing swap, which is always fun.
Yes, so even now, even if you don't have children, or if there's items that you no longer use, there's a swap that we do annually, and we're going to try to do it quarterly or maybe twice a year. We have the space over at the library, and people come in and swap anything from maternity clothes to shoes, baby gear, and books, which is kind of nice because we could use the books at the library that we lend, but sometimes there's books that you want to keep and share with your friends. So you bring in a bag, you take a bag, and I love raffles. So we had a little raffle too, because sometimes there's the associate members or aging out families that no longer need clothes, but they have clothes to give, and so a little bit of something for them to go home with.
Thank you so much, Ria.
Thank you, Edie. It was a pleasure.
Nice to meet you. In the second half of our show, we'll be talking to Kristen O'Brien, the president of the Coastside Mothers Club. Welcome, Kristen.
Thank you, Edie. It's great to be here.
Great. And Corrine Bucher, past president of the Coastside Mothers Club and a life coach. Welcome, Corrine.
Thank you very much.
Great. So I'm going to ask you some of the similar questions that I asked to Ria. So how did you get started with the Coastside Mothers Club?
Mothers Club. It's funny, my daughter was 3 months when we moved to El Granada, and I knew probably 2 or 3 people in town, so I thought I need to get to know some additional people for the sake of my daughter, which is interesting because in the end I really feel I've gotten as much benefit from joining the club as she has, and now my son. They both love it, but I've made lifelong friends, and I think it's such a valuable resource for new moms especially.
Yeah, it makes me think back that I joined the Coastside Mothers Club when I was pregnant, and I had moved from Pacifica down to Half Moon Bay, and I knew I needed support, and that was the first place I went. And I was still pregnant. I hadn't even had the baby yet, so it's a great resource.
And how many kids do you have?
I have 2. I have a 6 and a 7-year-old.
6 and a 7-year-old. Yeah. And Kristen, you said you have a daughter and a son?
Yes, a 5 and a 3-year-old.
A 5 and a 3-year-old. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Oh. So do you have a little history of the Coastside Mothers Club?
We do. It's really very sweet. A group of mothers, a small group of mothers, recognized the need for support and connection on the coast, and they formed a group. And what's interesting now is you still run into them in town and meet them, and they just have huge smiles on their face when they see that almost 20 years later it's 300 members strong and 30 board members, and we just have over 100 events a year, and they're just so excited to see what it's become. And it was so cute. We had at one of our first fundraisers, we had one of the first babies in attendance, and it was interesting because the family just wanted to be a part of the experience and share. And the wife had created the original logo, and you just run into people all over town with stories like that. So it's definitely brought the community together, and it's really a great resource and great to see how far it's come.
So an adult that was a child, one of the first children, had come.
It was very sweet to see her.
The next generation.
I think she was 18, or I don't know. Well, no, she'd be, well, this was 2 years ago, so maybe about 18.
Oh,
it was
that's
cute.
Wonderful. So what's the goal of the club?
Well, our goal is definitely to do whatever we can to support new mothers and young families on the coast. But our motto is Friendship, Family, Fun. So we really, everything we do focuses on those three core values. I think Corrine was involved in kind of creating a new logo and look, and the motto came out then. I don't know if you have any history.
Yeah, we updated it at year 15. We updated our logo and kind of modernized things, and we realized the club was growing so fast, and Half Moon Bay is growing, and so we updated everything and made it modern and fun, and we really began at that time to focus on what we could do for the community as well, because we had been really focused on mothers, kids, and that our core group, and then what can we do in the community outside of our little core group. And so we really got involved in more activities, one of which, Sandy Feet, was a great example of a way that we raised money for a charity. We raised a lot of money.
So
that was kind
Sandy Feet.
Sandy Feet Festival.
One of your
fundraisers. It's
brainchild.
Sandy Feet.
Kristen.
Oh, is it?
Well, there's an interesting story behind that. I was new to the board, and Corrine and I had talked about making connections and doing more for the community, so I came up with the idea to have a sandcastle contest. But
Which you can't believe there's not a sandcastle contest. So it's really a great idea.
Oh, there's not?
No, now there is.
Well, I think now it's,
Oh, no, there is.
Yeah. But what was really great, I did not know that Corrine was a life coach at the time. So I think I owe the majority of the success, well, there was a large number of people working on the project, so we all pulled together. But I think a great deal of the success was due to the fact that I was being coached.
Unknowingly.
Unknowingly. It was it was a lot of fun. And Corrine really was a terrific leader, and I think makes a great life coach.
Great. We have some pictures of that, and I guess one of them has the big balls with the parachute, which looks like a lot of fun.
We generally have child entertainers, and one of our most recent additions to the agenda for the day is a surf-a-duck, and we have Jeff Clark come and he surfs out. He's the maverick surfer, and he takes a bag full of rubber ducks out on his surfboard and lets them loose, and the kids wait for their number to be called, hoping that they won the surf-a-duck contest. And each duck costs $5, so it's helping us raise additional money for the local nonprofit that we're supporting. So it's a lot of fun for the kids, and of course the sandcastles are the highlight.
And I think that is one of the highlights, because you get a whole range of age group. So kids at all ages can come and build castles. We even had adults come and enter in the contest. So it's an event that brings the community closer together.
The community.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Right. So on that note, are only mothers allowed to join the Mothers Club, or other people allowed to join the Mothers Club?
I think similar to Pacifica's group, we are open to mothers, fathers, grandparents, caregivers, as long as they have a child. The age range that we focus on is birth to 5, the same. However, we're kind of talking about an alumni membership opportunity, because so many people like to stay on a little bit longer. My son will be 5 in less than 2 years, and I can't imagine just being done. So I think it's a great resource for anyone with young children under 10 on the coast.
So you have play group?
Yes.
You get play groups together? What other things do you?
Play groups, we have clothing swaps, we have the babysitting co-op, In a Pinch. I think it's really, we offer...
Nice sister.
Exactly. In fact, we were saying
clubs.
Earlier we should co-host events together and really coordinate
that might be a
and
good
kind
idea.
of connect, the two.
Right.
And I think we even have a couple of Pacifica members, and just today I joined the Pacifica Mothers Club because it just seems like there are several things we could do together.
I think one unique event from last year and an offering was the small business, you wouldn't call it a boutique.
The bazaar?
The
Holiday bazaar. Something new.
Oh, that's great.
One of our board members came up with the idea to invite mothers who owned businesses or had a side business or a craft business to come. And we met in a local exercise studio, and they set up little booths, and we had food and music, and it was just before the holidays, so it was festive and fun, and we'll definitely be doing it again. They raised quite a bit of money for the club, which is good because that helps us with the expenses and operating expenses and things.
That is a great
And it was a lot of fun.
Lots of moms starting businesses, and it's really exciting.
The club is great for networking as well, and I think it's funny because when I joined, I was a working mother, and I've since become a stay-at-home mom, but I've gained so many skills by serving on the board all of these years. So I feel like whether you're a stay-at-home mom and you just need some outlet, you can serve on the board and kind of have fun projects to work on and collaborate with other mothers and really connect with people. And if you're a working mom, you can build your resume as a result of being a member and volunteering and participating. And we especially like when people sign up to be on the board because we can use all the help we can get.
What is the club best known for among the mothers on the coast?
Well, I think play groups, we did a survey 2 years ago, and the majority response was play groups. Everyone signs up for play groups, but I think that the Mothers Club really is so much more. People don't realize, as I was saying in the beginning, when I signed up for the play group. I wanted my child to have a social network on the coast, and I've just come away with so much more friends, lifelong friends, and great opportunities to learn new skills and just fun. My husband has a whole group of friends that he's met through the club, so it's great family-wide. And I think you mentioned something too, the chat. A lot of people...
Yeah, the online resource, the chat, similar to what she was talking about with Pacifica. The forum, amazing way to get connected with all kinds of resources.
You
and
can
get support and advice.
Ask a question, and within an hour you have exactly what you need. Everyone responds with useful information.
Babysitters and everything you might need. Yeah.
Oh, great. So you had talked, I want to make sure we get to the life coach aspect of the show, because I thought it was just so intriguing. And I'd heard of life coaches before, but not so much. And I got a little glimpse in there about what they do. And so, Corrine, can you just tell us about your life coach?
Yeah, yes. I mean, I've been coaching for 15 years, but I've always worked with women. But after I had children, I realized there was such a great need. I needed a coach after I had kids, right? And so I realized this great need for mothers, a way to define balance for themselves, create a vision of balance, and to make it real, because it can be such a stressful time. And so now I simply focus on mothers, and I coach individually. I offer mothers groups. I do workshops, and I have a workshop coming up in March, which I just did, which is a vision board workshop. So something they can do to create a vision for their lives, and something they can take home, put on their wall, something that, really inspires them. And so that's how I support.
I actually took that workshop, and the mothers, it was just amazing how much sharing and relating, and it was so powerful to be a part of the group, and actually life-changing.
Right.
I was telling her earlier, my vision board didn't come out exactly as I had hoped, but it was exactly what I needed. So it's really an interesting experience, what you can learn about yourself. And
it's so easy to get wrapped up in being a parent and lose yourself. And so I think that's the value of coaching, is bringing you back inside what's important to you, what will make you happy, because what makes you happy will make your whole family healthy and happy. And so that's my mission, is like, what is it that you need to do to take care of yourself? So that's what I do. That's what I get to do. So.
Can you just give a little bit more about some of the other
offerings?
Offerings, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Just a little bit more.
So mothers groups, mother support groups, where we talk about different topics. Basically everything from learning how to say no, and extreme self-care, which is a really important topic, which I like to call it extreme self-care, because at least if you're shooting for extreme self-care, you fall somewhere within self-care, right? You give yourself this big, wide spectrum. Self-care is a big one. Reconnecting with yourself, making time for yourself, all those different topics, and come together as a group and discuss it, and leave with some real tools to be able to go forward and change, where you're out of alignment. And so that's something I do quite often. I also do corporate workshops. I was at Adobe all morning working with the working parents there on their life vision, which is kind of cool too.
It's nice that a corporation would realize that, this is a whole person, and they need also the coaching for the family and balance. That's great. Okay. Well, I really appreciate you both coming in. It was really nice talking to you about the Coastside Mothers Club and the Life Coach.
Thank you.
And I believe you have there's websites for both. So the Coastside Mother Club website, and you have your own Life Coach website, right, Corrine?
Yes.
And we will put those up so people can see them.
Excellent.
Great. Thanks for joining us for this episode. Make sure to see us on YouTube